There you go. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to the Octant community meeting. Today is September 29, and it's a nice, shiny day, at least here where I am. We appreciate that you're joining us live or watching the recording. And, a big shout out to Scott Rosenberg, one of our longtime supporters and contributors who's joining us live today and using his new shirt that found its way to his home. So it's great. Welcome, Scott. Awesome. I don't have mine. I haven't received mine. So okay, let me
Same
start.
here.
Yeah, let me start sharing my screen. There you go. Hold on, please. There you go. Okay. Well, let's get started and let's go straight to the status updates if you don't mind. So, as you probably know by now, our team is working the release .25 with several features, bringing again a lot of quality of life improvements. So we have at least two or three of them that we would like to share its status today. So we'll start with the module federation and have some job by Milan and some other team members. So I don't know if you would like to chime in, Milan.
Yeah, definitely. I can give a quick update on that. Luis and I have been working on this, and basically we decided to split this work into two different phases. In a phase one, we are only doing the support for the remote hosted components. And the phase two will provide support for hosting local components and packaging them together with the plugins. So phase one is pretty much done. I think there's a little bit more work left in just to wrap up some cleanup and do some more tests, and that's going to be ready for the review pretty soon, I think. So basically, in a phase one, we are providing a new component. It's called MF component. Unfortunately, I'm not running that branch right now. I can't show you, but basically there's just a component that's a tiny wrapper around externally hosted component. The only thing that externally hosted component needs to do is provide some standard module federation interfaces for remote components. So that's been working pretty well. And also both Luis and I started working on phase two. He's focusing more on the packaging side and I'm focusing on serving side. So hopefully that will be ready soon as well. That is all I got. Luis, did I forget something?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Great. Cool. Thank you. That's interesting. This is a huge one, the role-based access control restrict usage issue. So I don't know if probably Sam would like to share about this.
Yeah, so this one, I believe it's a problem we've had for a long time. So essentially, there's this concept of informers, if you've used Client Go before, and they could request things on the namespace or non-namespace scoped, and depending on which one it is, well, in this particular case, if you're using the non-namespace scoped ones, they assume a certain set of RBAC restrictions. So if you have them in a much narrower scope, you'd have to make more informers to get around some of these RBAC restrictions. So most notably for this one, I think I've only shown this internally. Yeah, I think so. So essentially in a particular case, like you don't have list access to all the namespaces, but you have access to one particular namespace and can view, like, say, the pods in that namespace. Currently, Octant doesn't show anything for that. So this is a quick fix up for that. The next step from this type of work is to effectively start incorporating this into UI elements. So in other words, if you can't list namespaces, we want Octant to make that painfully aware to the users, and probably even for things like navigation or their sidebar, we shouldn't assume those things exist. At the rate that we're going right now, a lot of those are just very tightly coupled or hard coded. So it's not a trivial thing to just say, oh, let me just change the WebSocket message so then the navigation is different. But ultimately, that's where we want to end up. Like these like disable cluster overview flags, I think it could stay, but really the better restriction is if you can't view objects, say like in the cluster level, then just don't show that at all. And we'll eventually get there. But yeah, that's really what this PR is all about.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, that's great because it's related with some issues users have reported in the past. Users that work in RBAC restricted environments, so it will be great to have it live. Thank you. Okay, there's this another issue that I've seen some work on this, regarding the Octant custom protocol. So I just wanted to know if there's some update to share about this, how this has been working. We already discussed in the past meeting the why behind this improvement, so I just wanted to know if there's some update to this.
Sure. So this is still a work in progress, but we're trying to evaluate the experience for the cases when using a custom protocol will be used the most. Like we're kind of trying to address the case when the user opens a link to Octant from an external app. We are currently trying to look into the experience of how that will look. But we have like a good enough way to move forward with it. So yeah, but it's currently in progress. Should be we should be able to put this in this release.
That's great. Thank you, Vikram. That's really nice. All right. Now with the discussion topics, we have first here the community meeting cadence. We were having some kind of discussion to probably move them to a bi-weekly cadence frequency. So what are your thoughts around this? Do you agree with this? Or any other idea, proposal?
Meetings are now bi-weekly.
Okay. Yeah, meetings are now bi-weekly. Cool. So yeah, I will make sure that we communicate this and we update the documents accordingly. Okay, got it. I was having a look at an issue that a user created. I think it was today or yesterday, and he referred to this repo that I wasn't aware of, and I think it's really cool. Someone created a turnkey image to using Helm to deploy Octant, and our user is using this to actually, after he has Octant, to use the Helm plugin on top of Octant. So it's kind of inception, but it's really interesting to see this work. So to the team who built this, thank you. It's interesting, and it's fairly update. 24. So I haven't tried it. I don't know if anyone here has already tried it, but it looks really interesting to deploy it where, in environments when you cannot just provide kubeconfig to developers. So it's interesting. If you are in need to use it, It looks good.
I've actually
Yeah.
used it a few times.
Really?
It's a nice integration that they did with Keycloak also to allow for authentication proxying in front of it. So you can set up a full permission one and a read-only one. And then based off of permissions in Keycloak, you can set up like an authentication proxy in front of it. So it's still not good RBAC like should be with a kubeconfig on client side, but it allows for certain use cases by in specific environments. That was very nice.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Really nice. Very nice use case. That's great. Okay. Well, if no other comments, we can go to the next point. It's nothing less than Go 1.17. So I don't know, Sam.
Yep, that's me from this morning. So I'm officially moving Go to 117. This doesn't really mean anything for most folks. Just the key things are that if you're doing some dev work currently right now, just kind of be aware that if this gets merged within this release cycle, it would definitely involve a rebase. It's pretty much kind of rewrites like a ton of vendor and all the Go mod related type files. And probably a cool thing from doing this, if y'all are working on any other Go projects, that like Go vet actually caught another race condition that previously was not caught in I think we're using 116 now, so that's also part of the fix as well. It's more specifically, it was about essentially passing literals in error groups, but this is just kind of an example to show like, oh yeah, our usage of GitHub Actions and bumping PRs every week is kind of a pain, but occasionally it pays off and it feels kind of good.
It's important. Well, okay. Any other topic, question that probably some of you may have? No? Well, thank you for joining or watching and have a nice day. Goodbye.